Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live, talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynn@pghcitypaper.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Hey, and a good morning to you on the 13th of September, 2017. And if you're watching, this is unbelievable, right? Because the guys at Pittsburgh Mills actually created a backdrop exactly like. It is the spitting image of City Paper's newsroom. And what's amazing is they have, because technology is so amazing today, you might even see people walk by. How cool is that? I mean, I've given up even understanding what's going on anymore. I really have. So, just astonishing. Our first show here at Pittsburgh Mills. Did you fall for that? I bet I hooked a few people. A few trusting souls, huh? So anyway, here I am back at City Paper. Did I not tell you yesterday? I'll believe it when did I not tell you? This is becoming a sitcom, I think. This is, where in the world is Lynn Cullen? I don't even know what to tell you, and I'm done giving updates, and I just go where people tell me to go. That's all. And that was a softball, wasn't it? Yeah. How many of you are saying, yeah, you go to hell, lady? No, I'm just... Would you like to auto-archive your old... No! I don't even know what you're talking about and who invited you. So, I guess in many ways I've always lived in a world I didn't understand, but I really don't. I am just being buffeted by this new world I'm in. And part of the Pittsburgh Mills thing is it's going to be creating a situation in which I think the potential for us being on a bigger platform will, I never use the verbiage, but I'm going to, will grow our audience. However, little technical issues continue, and you won't believe what it is. It's the phone system. So technically, I could have done the show yesterday at this new studio, which is very much not ready for prime time. And I would not have been able to take calls. So I said, could I just go right back to, the conference room up there at Smithfield Street and just talk and trust that my folks will email me so it's not just this constant monologue? I don't even know if I have a lot of material today. I don't know. I'm in a bit of a... So anyway, here I am. Here you are. There you are. My understanding, by the way, of what's going to be happening there is that there will be some changes. I get the impression that we're sort of being, even though you'll still you can go to the Pittsburgh City Paper website to access me. My understanding is the platform will really be mostly Facebook. And I don't do Facebook. So I'm an old lady in a new age who's confused. So I say, just tell me where to go, put me in front of a microphone, and I'll just start babbling. So I don't even care where I am anymore. But I do want to talk to you. I mean, dialogue. This is wearing me down, guys. Because you try sitting in a closet by yourself. There's no one else in the room. And talking with some passion about some subject when there's nobody there. You feel like you're nuts. You do. Well, my career in radio obviously helped me to be able to do this, but there always was at least somebody, like through a glass window, another human, and the capacity to take a phone call or two. So I'm a little out of sorts, but we can talk. Nothing's totally floating my boat today. It's not like I've got a bee in my bonnet or a burr under my saddle, or anybody think of any other old saws that apply? I'm thinking again of the consequences of Donald Trump being the president of the United States, and that came up in my head because of the fact that the Supreme Court of the United States exercised its power in a few cases, and in each instance in a way that made me shake my head and sigh deeply. And that is, and I'm sure, again, that you know, that they struck down all, I think the Hawaiian courts putting on hold Trump's travel ban. It's a very it's sort of technical what they did, and it's confusing, but the fact is that now the Supreme Court has said, no, you can keep these tens of thousands of people from coming into the country. Why aren't I hearing myself all of a sudden? Hello? Hang on. I'll be right back. Carlo? Somebody? I'm not getting audio. Okay, here I am, back again. Hello? No, now I'm okay. The audio seemed to go out. Can you just check, Charlie, and see, will you be able to? Okay, am I okay here, guys? Do you hear me? I'm sorry. Is it okay now? Because it just dropped out.
You look okay.
It looks okay?
Yep.
It's just for a while there, Carlo, I don't know why. I all of a sudden, I wasn't getting audio.
You were?
I am now, though. How could that have happened? Okay, I'm sorry. What? Are we okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So, sorry.
That's okay.
False alarm. Panic. You don't have to.
I'll stay a little bit.
You will? Okay. Thank you. I was just saying how weird it is to sit in here and passionately talk about things when I'm sitting in a room by myself,
Absolutely.
It's like I'm studying to be a frequent guest at Western Psych or something. It's just weird. Alrighty, so the Supreme Court said, yeah, you want to keep those refugee hordes, those huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of our teeming shores out, go right ahead. And that's a Supreme Court that also said those Texas redistricting, gerrymandering, rigging of the elections in Texas, that's okay too, I guess. At least for now. So for the 2018 elections, we can have a rigged vote in the state of Texas. That's cool. And that was a 5-4 decision, which means that Neil Gorsuch, Trump's appointee, he tipped the balance. Without Gorsuch there, it would have been a 4-4, and frankly, then the lower court would have prevailed, and we'd see some action on the outrageous rigged districting in Texas. So yeah, we got this president. His name is Trump. See, I'm now not hearing myself again. You are fine.
You're coming through.
Okay, I'm coming through, so something's weird. You know what? Maybe I'm going deaf. It might be my ears.
That's Twitch.
Nah.
No? Because I'm getting through here.
Okay. And this is plugged in good? Okay. Well, it's just sort of like waxing and waning. Sort of like a tight... There, it went... Okay. Oh, okay. All right. I'm hearing me. Not that that's necessarily pleasurable. God! Is anybody out there? Is anybody listening to this? Because this is weird. Anyway, so Gorsuch is on the... And let us, since we're... CNN right now and MSNBC and all these others, I think they think there's just one story in the world, and that's Irma. And, it is. It's a big story, but at this point, it's sort of more a localized story. And there is so much that they are not reporting on. It's just unbelievable. Why do they think that somebody wants to see an hour of essentially the same story reported from different locations? I don't. I'm sick of it. I'm waterlogged. I've had it. I'm glad I'm not there. I'm sorry for the people that are. And they all talk about rebuilding, and I think you're idiots. And I'm done. I just, no, fine. We're going to rebuild so it can all be blown away in the next one. I'm in a mood. Okay, so I haven't talked a lot about this Equifax thing, but let me just ask how this is possible. That a company that I never did business with, I've never contacted Equifax and said, would you, I'd like to be your customer. Will you help me out here? Will, you've got a service and I want to make use of it. I never contracted with them. And yet, they hold all of the information about me, which I have been told a million times I need to keep very safe, secure, and secret. Everything, all that stuff from my, where I live, to my birth date, to my mother's maiden name, to my social security number, all of it, they've got it. I didn't tell them they could have it. Don't I own that stuff in some way? How's that possible? I'm sorry. And not only do they have this precious information that I thought belonged to me, but they lost it. Through negligence, it's now in the hands of people who would do me ill. What kind of a... I'm just asking. How's that possible? Obviously it is. And there's other people who have all my information that I never said. Okay, sure, yeah, you can have it. How does that work? Why is that okay? Where's our government safeguarding us? We expected Equifax to safeguard us? That ain't the business they're in. I don't understand it. I really don't get it. And my understanding is that the Republicans who control our government want to roll back whatever regulations are constraining entities like Equifax. They think they're burdened. They think that it's hard for them to do business because the government is got their fingers in their stuff. Well, hello? They got their fingers in my stuff and I didn't even know it. And now it's someplace unknown. And I'm supposed to take action. Uh-oh. Regulations. Let's talk about that. Okay, so I think part of the disappointment, and I know I can feel it in the air, that the build-up to Irma seems now to have been a little too much because, well, even though the devastation makes for good pictures and stuff, you know, when you hear a reporter standing up, and I did last night, and saying, you know, it is amazing, but I'd say most of the houses here are standing. And he's standing in the Keys that took the brunt. All the stuff we were told is that that place would be obliterated. You would be an idiot to have stayed. Apparently not. So why isn't the death toll? We like death tolls. We like to see those numbers tick up. I mean, I don't mean we like them, but it tells us that our interest and attention was not misplaced. This is big. You know why a storm of that breadth, magnitude, and fury didn't kill as many people? Government. Yeah, government intrusion. Because we funded something called the National Weather Service, which Trump wants to cut. Because we funded NOAA, which Trump wants to cut. Because we mandated that buildings built in a hurricane-prone zone meet certain requirements so they won't be obliterated. Sort of like the Three Little Pigs school, right? No, you can't make your house out of twigs. No, straw's not good enough. And what a Republican will say is, how dare you? I'm an American. I want to build my house of straw. I can build my house of straw. And in Houston, wherever I damn well please, because we don't even believe in zoning laws. But the fact is, when government steps in with regulation, it's doing so to protect us. And the Republicans have managed to hoodwink, brainwash, propagandize a whole bunch of our citizenry into thinking that regulations are about, the incentive is to stymie business growth. The incentive is to save lives. It's why an earthquake in Turkey that doesn't have building codes results in thousands of people dead, where the same earthquake stuck in the United States would yield none. Government regulation. No one's reporting on it right now, but I don't know what toxic substances are rolling around in the water table and systems in Houston because of all the refineries and industrial sites they have there and toxic waste sites. Same in Florida. Those are heavily regulated, supposedly, and I think we'll find out not regulated enough. This seems to me the hurricane thing is such a wake-up call to Republicans. Hello, you're wrong about global warming. It's real. Climate change, it's real. And look, this is what's happening. Wake up. Hello, you're wrong about government getting out of the business of safeguarding the citizens through regulations of business who would run roughshod over all of us in pursuit of profit. You're wrong. You're just plain wrong. I assure you, those corporations are making money. You needn't trouble your pretty little heads about them. Trouble your pretty little heads about all the little people. I don't know. So this is like one of those teachable moment things. And I don't think anyone's learning. I don't know. I don't have a clue. But CNN, your singular focus on one story is not doing your job of informing the public. Maybe you think you must have something that tells you it's what? You got focus groups? Yeah. You got consultants who tell you people are turning to you for one thing and one thing only. To see people wading through waist-deep water and to hearing more troubled souls thinking, I don't know how I'm going to rebuild. Well, how about moving? And then, did you happen to see the telethon last night, the hour long? It was all over the place. It came on. I was watching, of course, my usual, I've already admitted, Jeopardy, which then feeds into the thing I'm most embarrassed about, Wheel of Fortune. And then, there's Stevie Wonder. I mean, and he starts talking. I thought, what the hell? There was no intro. There was nothing. It was just Stevie Wonder sitting at a piano. And he starts talking. And he's talking like a Hollywood elitist. That was my first reaction. Uh-oh. If they were hoping to attract Americans and bring them together, then I think somebody should have told him that you shouldn't call a whole bunch of them stupid. Because that's what he did. I mean, I agree with him, but I don't think that's smart. The telethon was meant, the whole shtick was, we have to come together. We're wonderful people. A lot of our people are hurting. Let's come together and help them out. And he started up by saying all that. Storms don't care if you're black or white or gay or straight or this or that. He went through all the things. But then, and how we all are in the same. And then he said, but man, if you don't believe in global warming, you're either blind, which I thought was funny, since he is, or I think he said stupid or an idiot or something like that. Now, I agree with that statement, but let's say you're a blind idiot who was going to watch the show and maybe give some money, and you've been dissed like that because you have concerns about global warming, about whether it's true or not. It just seems so funny. It seemed like, So every star that ever there was from the music world and TV world and the movie world, they were all there. And I guess at this point, they raised $44 million? That's nice. Stephen Colbert announced during it that Apple had called in and said, we'll give $3 million. $3 million. Believe me, a drop in the bucket for them. But Colbert also said, I'll give you $3 million, which is about the price of their new iPhone. I don't know, guys. Let me go to the phones. Let me go to the... Oh, yeah. In your dreams... Chris writes, so if anybody, see, we're even starting our written communication with the word so. Chris, I don't think you would have done that 5 years ago. But that's what we do now. We start every utterance with the word so. And the more we do it, and I have to say now, it sounds perfectly reasonable to me now. My ear is so used to it. But it didn't used to be there, and it's superfluous. It is unnecessary. So, Chris writes, so if anybody went to the link, the Equifax link, to see if their information was compromised, I guess there was an agreement of some sort. You had to click on it to see if you were hacked. Right, I did it because one of you told me to. Buried in the very fine print, Equifax had you agree not to sue them. That is true. I think that has been overridden, will not hold, because there are so many people who got screwed in this one that that ain't going to work. I got to tell you something. It's a subject we talked about a few times. This thing where you find out that a company screwed you big time, but you somehow signed off without realizing it, and said to them, I will not ever sue you if you screw me. I might agree to go to arbitration and you pick the arbitrator. That kind of language is absolutely in everything that you sign now. You know, all those things that you say, yeah, I read the terms and conditions, which you didn't, and you sign off because you want whatever it is, right? The terms and conditions now, 99% of the time say, you can't sue me. This, too, has been upheld by the Supreme Court of the United States. This, too, is in place because we have a Congress that does the bidding of corporations and says to the people they supposedly represent, screw you. I'm just saying. Margaret says your voice did go out at one point. Huh. Yeah, it's continuing. I'm every once in a while. That's why I'm so on this mic, because every once in a while I'm not hearing me through my headphones. So I don't know what this is. But you know what? Anyone who has watched or listened to the show for any length of time knows that this is part of the Lynn Cullen show. The vicissitudes of technology. My voice is there, my voice is not. The phones work, the phones do not. The this, that, the that, the that. I mean, that's the way it goes. I'm in a studio. No, I'm not. I'm in the same studio as a new studio. No, it isn't. I'm broadcasting from who knows? Chuck writes, Lynn, and he starts with so, too. Don't tell me I'm not onto something. It sounds normal to us now. I can see why you both say it. It's a way of just, we didn't do it 5 years ago, I'm telling you. It's interesting how language changes, huh? So Chuck writes, so for a second, I did fall for your joke about the scene behind you. For those of you who didn't see it, I started by saying, isn't this amazing that people at Pittsburgh Mills provided a complete backdrop that looks exactly like, mostly because so many people have said they liked it, but it made me think, what background would be appropriate if we could choose one? Wouldn't it be fun if we could change it day to day depending on the mood? Yes. And I think eventually if I do end up at this other studio, they are going to, I think, try to have like a big screen behind me, which could put all different kinds of things. I mean, it's like a big television. And I suppose that can change. But at this point, give me 2 tin cans and some string. I mean, I'm fine. Henry saying, I came in late. He's wondering. Well, I came in late, but when I tuned in, this is what I saw, and you were yelling for someone. Oh, that's funny. This is what you saw. It's an empty chair. I think that is iconic. That screenshot you took, Henry. It's my ass. Oh, I missed my ass. How could you miss my ass? I missed my ass and the microphone, and I'm screaming out the door for help. That is a beauty. Jesus. Oh, God, Henry. So I'm not at Pittsburgh Mills, obviously, Henry. Dorothea writes, and she doesn't say so. So she just gets right to the point. She says, Lynn, regarding the Equifax breach, when everybody else who's emailed so far said, so regarding the Equifax breach, am I beating a dead horse here? I'm sorry. And now I've made all of you really uptight. So if you find yourself typing to me, and I really love it when you do because I can't take calls. If you find yourself starting with SO, and then do you like delete it because, oh no, she'll call attention to it, so I better not, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, back to Dorothea. Regarding the Equifax breach, none of us, in fact, ever gave Equifax our consent. I know, that's what I was saying, to have our information in the first place. Essentially, they have taken our information without our permission, and they were careless with it. Everyone should join the class action suit. Yeah. I mean, let me tell you. Equifax is in big trouble. And did you see that 3 of their executives sold a bunch of their stock after they found out about the breach, but before it was announced to us? And in fact, their stock plummeted. That's not against the law? Oh, we can't have any regulations like that. You can't get in the way of business. Republicans really think that if you deny business the right to screw you, that will never succeed. I mean, business has the right to do whatever they want, right? Oh, God. Barbara writes, so, do you think so will replace well? Yeah, I think it has. I think so. I mean, for a little 2-letter word, it's fighting above its class. I mean, it's amazing. A little word like so all of a sudden precedes every utterance. If you watch like the talk shows, like the cable stuff, it's mind-blowing how almost every person on like a given panel, a given, bloviating panel, starts whatever they're going to say with, so, do, re, mi, fa, so. Margaret says, so, I fell for your trick too. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, I think I did it. Louise says, did you recount stories about your trip yet? My trip? I took a trip? Man, does that seem like a long time ago. The Israel trip. Did I? I don't think I did. Did I ever talk to you about some of the things that... My one, I thought, interesting story. I didn't tell this about me getting tangled up in Israeli security. Somebody tell me if I told it before. Otherwise, I will tell it. Just to waste time. So, the last day that we were over there, we left Israel and went into Jordan. And we did this at the Red Sea. We were staying in the Israeli town of Eilat, which is at the very bottom of Israel. Israel sort of comes to a point. There's Eilat, there's the Red Sea. The Dead Sea is just up here a little bit. And when you're staying in Eilat, you're on this beautiful sea. It is gorgeous. And a hop, skip, and a jump, it looks like you could easily swim it. Well, I don't know about you, and I don't know about me, but some people could. And on the other shore, there's Jordan. And so there's a checkpoint to the north, the north coast of that sea, in Eilat, where was a border crossing. Jordan, Israel, an Arab nation, and the Jewish nation. And used to be, it was pretty hard to go from one to the other. And the fact is that it's hard if you're coming out of Israel to travel into other Arab states. What's interesting is they don't stamp your passport. Everywhere else you go, you go into another country and they stamp your passport. They don't stamp the passport. Jordan doesn't, Jordan doesn't. I can't remember. They instead take your picture, facial recognition stuff, sort of like the new iPhone, and you have a little card that's created that goes into your passport, so it's discardable once it's done being used, so that there's no permanent record in your passport that you were in Jordan. This has something to do with the Middle East. Right? So I did it. So we're, our group of I think there were about 14 of us, we're heading into Jordan. And what blew me away is, this is in the middle of nowhere, sort of. It's just desert. And, see, I'm not hearing myself again. And you walk across a sort of desert-like expanse, and you walk to a building, and you go through the Israeli part, and then you walk through another expanse, and then you go through the Jordanian part. And maybe, are you hearing me? About 20, because I'm not hearing me. And then about 20 yards that away, you see that there's the same kind of setup, but it's for people going the other direction. It's from people going from Jordan into Israel. And so we had a group going this way, and over there was a line of all men coming from Jordan. It's very early in the morning, coming from Jordan into Israel. And obviously he said, well, what's that? What are they? What's happening there? Well, they do that every day. They're workers. They're Jordanian workers who work in Israel, much to the delight of Jordanians, because they make good money over there in Israel. They work in the construction business. They work in the hospitality business. And then they come back every day. They go through that every day, back and forth, back and forth. Which surprised me, because we always hear about how Palestinians have such trouble getting into Israel and can't find work. But the Jordanians don't have any problem. And that's a whole other thing. There's a whole other reason. So Jordan and Israel get along very well. Did you know that? They help each other. Jordan and Israel also have a lot of trouble with the Palestinian population. Jordan does as well. In fact, it was a Palestinian that assassinated the first king, the current king's grandfather. So you learn all this stuff, and you see them going this way, and you're going that way. And anyway, so I went to Petra, this amazing place in Jordan, and the next morning, we're flying out. And we go to the first airport, which was going to take us from Eilat to the airport, the biggie, Ben Gurion Airport in Tel Aviv, where we would then fly back to the U.S. And we're waiting in line, and everyone in my group breezes through. I'm stuck for like 30, 45 minutes. The rest of my crew was really worried about it. They didn't know what had happened to me. I'll tell you what happened to me. So an unsmiling young woman started asking me questions. Again, you don't take off your shoes. They don't care if you're drinking something. None of that matters. They ask you questions. They also look at you. They really look at you. So when you give them your identification, unlike a TSA guy who just sort of maybe looks, they really look. Takes a while. And so she says, I see you were in Jordan yesterday. I had my little card tucked in there, in my passport. I said, yeah. Why were you there? I said, well, to see Petra. Just there for the day. And you immediately, when someone's asking you questions like that, you immediately feel defensive. I was immediately like, and why did you go there? She said. And I hear myself saying, well, my mom went and she said it was just amazing. And then when the opportunity came up that I could go, I said, oh gosh, I got to go. So that's why I went. I mean, I went because it's like a wonder of the world or something, right? Unsmiling. A few more questions. And then she said, while you were in Jordan, did anybody give you a gift? I mean, I was in Jordan for 9 hours. Did anybody give me a gift? And I started to say no. And then stopped and said, yeah. Oh, did her eyes get big? I said, yeah, somebody did. Who? Where? When? What? Blah, blah, blah. We had stopped in the middle of nowhere to use the restroom and maybe get some water. Buses in Israel cannot have bathrooms on them. Again, security. So buses stop a lot, so people can do what they have to do. And I had gone in this dusty little place that sells, lousy souvenirs and has bathrooms. And I'd gotten a Coke, I think. And I put it on the table and I said, how much? And they in Jordan, they like US dollar. He said $1. So I gave him $1 and turned with my Coke. And he said, ma'am, let me give you a gift. So I remember at the time, I thought, that's odd. Why is he giving me a gift? I just spent $1 and he's giving me a gift. And he handed me this little round thing, sort of looked like, a little like Lifesavers, a packet of Lifesavers, but it wasn't. It was some kind of candy. And I said, well, thank you very much, and left with my gift and my Coke. She said, where is it? I said, well, last night there goes my thing again. Last night when I was packing, I just dumped everything in my purse out to clean stuff out, and there I saw it, and I looked at it, and I thought, I don't want this, so I threw it away. And then I said, if you want, it's in a wastebasket in room 802 of the Dan Hotel in Eilat. Please, if you think it's like a bomb, that's where it is. She said, stay here. She goes away. She's gone for, I don't know, seemed like forever. But while she's gone, I'm starting to think. So that when she came back and said, okay, and starts asking me more questions. And I said, while you were gone, I actually remembered that another guy gave me a gift in Jordan. Oh my God. What? She said, another? You got another gift? I said, yeah. Where? When? Who? What? What? Blah, blah. And it was in Petra. I had stopped in a bookstore to get a little book about Petra. And I was negotiating. Yeah, I got to negotiate. For this little book, which would cost like $10, he asked for $55. I said, "You're kidding, right?" And his last, when I kept saying, "This is worth," I mean, come on, you're kidding me. And I'm not a good bargainer, but that's ridiculous. He said, "Business is not good. The tourists, they don't come." And so that was his pitch. Because the tourists don't come, I should pay $50 for a book that's worth $10. So it was an encounter, blah blah blah, back and forth. I said I really like the book, but I can't pay that much. So anyway, we agreed on a still inflated price. And as he gave me the book, he said, "Here, I give you a gift." And the gift was this big cardboard packet of lithographs of Petra, which probably cost as much as the damn book, and a sealed package of postcards of Petra that was sealed up in cellophane. And I said, "Thank you," and went on my way. And she's peppering about who this was, where it was, name of the store, any other witnesses, yada, 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 and do you have them? I said, "Yes, I have that." Dig in my suitcase, out comes the postcards, and she disappears again. Long time later, she comes back, gives them both back to me. And I was surprised that they hadn't ripped into obviously, they have ways of not destroying something. They can X-ray it, scan it, this, that, and the other thing. So my candy and that and everything, they were all okay. But then she says, "You understand that what happens is that people are given gifts. Unsuspecting people are given gifts as tourists because they will later go back into Israel. This is the way bombs and toxins can get transported. We have to be very careful. I'm sorry if I put you through a lot, blah, 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 blah." And then she was very nice. I even think she smiled. When I finally passed through the rest of it and got to the gate, the rest of my my troop stood up and cheered upon seeing me. I think they thought I'd been absconded with. And they all said the same thing to me. "Lynn, for God's sakes, at Ben Gurion Airport, if anybody in security asks you, did you get a gift? The answer is no, no, no." But you see, I told the truth. I don't think I did anything wrong. I told the truth. If people lie to them, how's that make it secure? But I have to admit, at Ben Gurion Airport, I was asked, and I said no. Because, my gifts had already been vetted. The other weird thing was, inquiring amongst the people that had been with me, were any of you given anything by any Jordanian person? Anything while we were in Jordan? Not a one. Not a one. I get 2 gifts unsolicited in like an 8-hour stretch, 8-9-hour stretch. Why? Why? As it turns out, they weren't bombs. They were actually gifts. I got 2 gifts. No one else did. I don't know what that's about. I really don't. Okay, so that's one of my stories. Big deal, huh? Brian writes, I think. I can't get there, Brian. I'm having difficulties. God damn it. Brian writes, Peter Gabriel should capitalize on this, the So thing. He had an early 80s album that was very good. Hits included Sledgehammer and Big Time. Name of the album was So. I don't know how you capitalize on it, though, so how would you do that? I like Peter Gabriel. Robin says, I cannot watch wildfires and hurricanes Please move, you morons. Boy, it sucks you can't call. Oh, man, I know. I know. I know. It seems, what could be so hard? Just between me and you, if you want to know the truth. Now that I'm back alone, I just as soon stay here and let them figure out how to do a phone thing, but I don't know. As I said, I just go where they tell me to go. Okay, so not only have I perhaps made some of you self-conscious about using SO, but I now hear it when I say it. And it could well be that I used to use it somewhat, I don't know, but now I'm so aware of it that it almost trips me up every time it comes out. I will not, I swear, I'll try to get off this because otherwise it'll drive everyone nuts. So when I say so, you can laugh to yourself, but I'm not going to keep harping on it because I can tell I do it. So I think I mentioned it yesterday, but I want to revisit it because today I actually went looking I get 3 actual printed newspapers every morning. Used to be more, but now I get the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Post-Gazette, and I digitally do the Washington Post. I went looking for a specific story, and I didn't find anything. I found one mention on Twitter, and it was a story of a mass murder that happened Sunday. In any other country, this mass murder would have been a big story, would have deserved to get inserted a little bit in the wall-to-wall coverage of the one story, Irma. Because the death toll was almost as big in the shooting as has been the case with Irma on the mainland. And it's this story. I don't know anything about it, but some guy pissed at his ex-wife. I guess she'd left him. Shows up. She's having a watch the Dallas Cowboys party with her buddies, her friends. And this guy shows up and just massacres 9 people. Blows 9 people away. That's all I know. And it's so troubling to realize that we are at a point in this country where a crime of that magnitude doesn't even get a mention. Maybe TV has mentioned it? I don't know. I'm sort of done with expecting to get news the way I used to. I mean, I've been done for some years, but maybe if he just killed one more person and gotten into double digits, we might have heard. I don't know. I don't get it. Okay. Oh, one more thing. This makes me angry. Did you see that? Now, a new study has come out, a follow-up to a study that was done, 18 years ago or something, which scared the bejeebers out of me and a ton of other millions and millions of other women who had been on hormone replacement therapy and then were told, that's going to kill you. There was a study that said this hormone replacement therapy, those pills you're taking, you are dead. You're going to get heart attacks. You're going to get cancers. You are dead. Man, did we jump off that stuff fast. And we took the stuff because the symptoms of menopause are, for some women, close to unbearable. Some women don't have any. I have friends who never experienced a bit. Some women, lucky women, have really the quality of life goes plummeting. You can't sleep at all. You are drenched all the time. You are anxious and free. When hormones start doing their thing. So anyway, they've done a follow-up of all the women 18 years later. The follow-up shows that women who took hormone replacement therapy and women who were scared not to, or scared and didn't, that their death rates there's no negligible difference, nothing. There was no increase in death by heart attack and death by cancer for women who took hormone replacement therapy. So in other words, sorry that we scared the hell out of you, made you cease taking a drug that was making you able to live your life, that allowed your family to function, because it's not fun living with a woman who is hormonally unbalanced. These damn studies. Here again, maybe it's partially media. I don't know. They're doing this all the time. I just found out that another drug I take is there's a much bigger incidence of Alzheimer's disease, people who have taken it for a long time. I have already taken it a long time. So I say to my doctor, yikes! So I better get off it, but if I get off it, then what's going to happen to the medical condition that I'm taking the drug for in the first place? He says, well, see, every individual's got to balance these risks. And he said, and you've got such a serious and chronic condition here that you've got to, it doesn't matter if there's this risk of you becoming a wandering soul who doesn't know who she is. But you have to continue. They drop this stuff in our laps all the time where we've got to bargain and figure what gamble do I want to make. It's been in and out a few times in my ear. Don't know what that means. So I just wish they'd shut up. I once had, and I've lost it since, I used it for a TV piece I did. When I used to get USA Today, I had a headline that said, fish oil can help your heart. And that's when everybody, so did you? Maybe you still do. Did you run out and start popping fish oil capsules every 5 seconds? Right. I swear it wasn't more than a year or two later. USA Today, same font, same size headlines. Fish oil does not aid heart. And I had both. I kept both. And two totally different pieces of information, both of which would cause people to alter their medical regimen. we're being jerked around so much that it's a wonder that any of us listen to anybody anymore. So anyway, I guess that's it. Guys, I will be here without the ability to take phone calls through the end of the week. And then come Monday, I'm making no prediction. I don't know, okay? Don't ask me. As I said, they point, I go. That's all. So we'll just have to, so that's it. I'm done. Goodbye.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.
See it, but that was happening quite a bit. And sometimes it was low for a minute,